Hello, Mr. Gheorghiu.
Hello, how are you?
Good, good. Good to see you.
Yeah.
So this game is with Kuzmin Gennadi.
Yeah, Kuzmin.
Yes.
Kuzmin was in that period one of the most promising talents of the Soviet school. He was young enough and a very tactical player. And against me, he played in this important tournament, the Interzonal from Riga. He played e4, and finally we have a very complicated game in the Najdorf variation. Najdorf.
So you played Sicilian.
Black, yes. I was playing Sicilian, mostly, as always. No? So finally he took knight f6, knight c3, a6. But this is the first moment. Instead of a6, black would play also e6, Scheveningen, or knight c6. This is Richterhausen. But with a6, we have a Najdorf position. Okay, so now bishop g5 is one of the most important variations for white, very aggressive also. Instead of bishop g5, white can also play f4, bishop c4, a lot of other moves, But bishop g5, even now, is one of the most important continuations for white. So e6, normal, and f4, bishop e7, queen f3, queen c7, and castle. Okay, so now we have one of the positions, analyzed for white and for black. It's not very clear even now who is better. A lot of games, a lot of important continuations for white, for black. A lot of victories. Very important tournaments, very important players, and so on. It's very unclear.
I think I didn't see many openings with the queen here on f3.
Queen f3 in that time was the most important continuation for white. The main variation. Yeah. Yes. So now black played knight bd7, and in this position there are some other moves. Bishop e2 is a little bit more quiet at the first glance, like this. The most important continuation, the most modern continuation, is bishop d3, and white can also play g4, or bishop takes f6 first and then g4. But bishop e2, it was played in that year by many important players, between them Grandmaster Keres, Geller, and so on, for white, I mean. And starting from here, the game will be very tactical. After bishop e2, black played b5, yeah, and he played immediately e5. Instead of e5, white could take first in f6, and after knight takes f6, e5, with the idea to sacrifice the queen for 2 or 3 pieces. Very tactical. If black plays the best moves, usually the black has a small advantage, and finally he can win. But it's very, very complicated. The most important game in that period was a game between Keres and Bobby Fischer. And Fischer finally won with black, and afterwards the game was considered to be okay for black.
So actually,
here
Keres
he wants
sacrifice the queen?
Well, the difference you see, instead of playing immediately e5, white could play here bishop takes, and after knight takes f6, now e5.
Yes.
And the idea is after bishop f7, you see, now he can take
b7.
B7, but
yes.
In b7, now he can give the queen and take in f6. Yeah, bishop takes there, and now bishop takes f3, and here you have to choose what to play with black. The rook is attacked, the bishop is attacked, and now if you move the rook, somehow rook c8, for instance, after taking in e7, white has, as you can see, 3 pieces for queen, and this is very dangerous for black.
Yes.
There's too many pieces somehow. You see?
Because there are yes, yeah, it's true.
3 pieces is much. Even if you stay with the king in the center, you don't move, you don't have the possibility to castle. It's already very dangerous for black. You see, but. Coming back to our position, the pawn in f6, and So now he takes in f6. Yeah, he takes in f6. This variation. Bishop takes, knight takes, e5. E5, bishop b7, take in f6, take in f3. And after bishop takes f3, bishop takes f3, now black takes in f6. And that is, again, very complicated, and the black can survive somehow. If he survives, he is better, and he can win.
So now if
he gives the rook, yes. And after, now he can play d5.
d5?
Yeah, and now he has the idea to attack later on the bishop, and if he takes the bishop from a8, black is clearly better, And that was the game, if I'm not wrong, it was the game between Keres and Fischer that Fischer won, This position, yeah. Yeah, this line. So instead, Kuzmin played immediately e5. The idea is to have a very active position by giving a pawn. But now, after bishop b7, you have to demonstrate that the sacrifice is correct, with white. So after bishop b7, queen g3, of course. Now black accepts, the gift and takes the pawn. So takes in e5, and queen takes e5. Now you have to do something with white, If you trade queens, it's clear that black is better. Pawn up for nothing, almost for nothing. So he can play, of course, bishop f4. It seems that he takes back the pawn, but it's not so clear. Now after queen c5, yeah? If he takes in g7, after rook g8, it's clear that black is okay. Black is better. He can take later on in g2 and has also the possibility to castle long side also later on. And it's clearly better for black. So therefore, he doesn't take the pawn. He tries to make, he realized this is a little bit dangerous, and he wants to make draw here, if it's possible, by repetition, to repeat the moves. So black played once queen e5, bishop f4, queen c5 back, bishop e3. Now, of course, if black plays back, draw.
It's a draw.
But of course, black doesn't want draw and plays queen c8. I played for win here, already, So after queen c8, it was the last moment where he could recapture the pawn in g7. But as I told you, it was better for black already, So he didn't take, and he wanted to continue the active game, by playing rook f1. But now black is clearly better, and we'll see this in just a few moves.
So it's clearly better because there's a pawn.
Yeah, pawn up. Yeah, pawn up. And if he can trade a few pieces, it's clear that he has a clear edge,
The advantage will matter more.
Yeah, of course, yeah. But you have to be careful with black, You have to play very precisely, So after castle, bishop d3, now knight c5.
Because it seems black can have a good attack on...
Well, if he can, eliminate the bishop from d3, it's okay already for black, because you don't have any attacking chances with white, you see. So here was an important moment if white wanted to play something like bishop h6.
Yes.
Well, after bishop h6, black can take immediately in d3 with check the bishop.
Yes.
Rook takes d3 and knight e8. And, okay, pawn up and two bishops, If you don't have anything very quickly, the advantage is clear for black, So he played back bishop g5, and now after knight e4, very good move, black can trade many pieces and stay in later on with a clear pawn up in a very complicated position. And later on, he has also very good attacking chances, So after knight e4, everything is more or less forced. Knight takes e4, knight takes e4, bishop takes e4. And now bishop takes g5 check, Forced to take in g5, and he recaptures in e4. Now we see the result of this tactical part of the game. Black has very strong bishop and good attacking chances against the white king, and pawn up. So the position is clear, better for black, as a result of this tactical part of the game. So after queen e5, bishop g6, of course, h4. Well, after h4, he has some idea, to come with h5 and so on. But everything is move by move now. He has to be very careful not to lose immediately white, Because now, for instance, after h5, he loses by force another pawn. After h5, rook takes d4, and black wins at least another pawn because of the mate threat in c2, You have to take in g6, and after rook takes d1 and rook takes d1, he takes back in g6, 2 pawns for nothing, So, okay, after rook d8, he played queen e2, the only way to not to lose quickly, So after queen c5, again, the same idea. We attack twice in d4, knight b3, and now queen c6. Okay. So after queen c6, he plays g4. Well, some initiative. I mean, he wants to have something. But black has a very good defense, of course, h6. Now, if you want something, you have to play h5, So he played h5, bishop h7, and now everything is blocked on this part of the chessboard. And we continue, finally, our initiative against the white's king. White is in big trouble already, in this position. So queen f2, and now f6. Yeah. So you can see white has nothing, and black has pawn up, very good bishop, and good attacking chances. The game already is decided. But you have to play very well until the end, you see. To be a little bit careful, not to give any counter chances. So rook h1, e5, okay. So now, knight c5, the last hope to see. Now rook d5, very strong, because now we attack with tempo. You have to take in d5, probably, Take with the queen, and now queen e3. I mean, he wants to, to see what happens. I mean, if you take in a1, for instance, maybe rook d1 at, a small chance, counter chance, let's say, but it's not enough, of course.
If you take where? In a1?
You could take in a2, of course.
In a2?
I mean, you take the pawn in a2, yeah. But, of course, was okay. But black plays even better, rook c8. And after rook c8, you are completely lost.
Okay. This pawn here.
Yeah, it's not enough to take the pawn. It's much better to play rook c8, of course. And after rook c8, rook d1.
Better in order to bring the last piece
we are, we're attacking the pawn from c2. If we take in c2, it's almost mate,
Yes. The knight is pinned now.
Yeah. So if he played now knight d3, after queen a2, he can resign, of course, immediately. Even after knight d3, rook, bishop takes d3, and you can't take back because you are pinned, So rook d1, of course, desperation, and now he loses a piece by force. Rook d1, queen takes c5, rook d8 check, king f7, of course, queen b3 check, and king e7, and white resign.
Yeah.
It was a very nice example of what can happen if black has the initiative in Sicilian, Very nice example. It's not always the same in Sicily. You sacrifice something and you have attacking chances and you win in a very nice manner. Here it was just the opposite, the black won in a very nice manner by force.
Yes.
Because the sacrifice was more or less a little bit risky, It was not enough, let's say. But Sicilian is always like this. If you stay alive the first 15, 20 moves with black, usually you have very good chances to win. Yeah, it was our game. A very nice example.
Yeah. Very nice. True.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Gheorghiu.